Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you tuning in once again. So we are back on our Moebius tow truck build. This is video number 4. So she's coming along very good. So this is what is this, 1972, I believe it is, F350. Man, that's like a year older than me. We're getting up there. Yay. Anyways, good stuff. In this video we're going to show you a little bit of assembly of the rear tower. I had some major warpage on that rear deck, that diamond plate deck for the tow part of it where the tower sits. I show you with the heat gun. That worked actually very well. That worked really good. So we got most of it decaled. I got a few more decals to put on it yet. Show you what we got going on with that. And like I said, we got some of the tower put together. So not 100%, but we're getting there. It's getting there slowly. This video had finished up a lot of the little trinkety stuff, painting and all that fun stuff. Like I said, decals. So speaking of decals, they're nice decals, but if you're not using like a micro set, you need to on this, or at least clear it or something. The decals are okay, but man, they go on nice. They're nice and smooth. They look good, but they're just not that durable. I had some problems with chipping here and there. Yeah, so I just a heads up, I would definitely put something over top of them. Even like a micro set would even do the job. Don't just raw dog them and throw them on, and especially if you're going to pick it up and handle it, they're probably going to chip and flake off on you in time. I guess probably a lot of it depends on the paint you put on, but my rear bumpers were a satin finish, and man, they just did not stick very well to it. So I'll show you in the video what I did to kind of help that out. But other than that, it's looking pretty good. So we'll take you over the bench and let's get finishing up this thing and see how far we get. Because like I say, this is majorly warped, like really bad. You can see it's got the big whoop, back like that, and then this way here looks like a banana going this way. So I brought out my trusty heat gun. So we're going to use a heat gun on it and go that route. I was going to do the water thing and all that, but man, that just takes so much time, and I don't have a lot of time. So what I did is I got a industrial type heat gun, and yeah, it's like a glorified hair dryer. Well, it'll probably burn your head if that's the case, but I mounted it in a vise just because I can't hold it, and it's just easier to just control. It's more control to do it this way. I can just turn it on and just manipulate it a little bit while we're working here and just get it to where it's more of a straight, without melting it and trying to hold it in my hand, and you know what I mean. So I figure it's just easier to do it this way. So we're going to get this turned on for a second, and we'll see how she does here, and hopefully we can bring it back to more of a reality check here. So I think we'll start with low, because like I said, this thing is pretty hot. Oh yeah, it's hot already. Don't take much to bring it back. Looks a lot better. You can see I put that support on the bottom. You can see I tweaked that quite a bit. That's how bad it was. Yeah, it's not bad. I think she's doable. Cool. Okay guys, so we're going to get a little panel line done on the cab. So I start here just a little bit. So I end up also starting on getting ahead of you here. Doing some black wash in the grill. I wasn't too fond about just the nice chrome grill like this. I thought about stripping it and just repainting it, but I don't know, it looks alright. So I basically just took this and just give it just a touch and let it flow through all the cracks and crevices. So what I'll do is let that dry, and I'm going to go back and give this another couple coats, and this panel line will actually fill in pretty good because I'm putting in it pretty heavy. I just nice heavy drip and just let it run and do its thing. Now I may go through and touch these back up in black, these spots here, if I don't want to see them, but just a little touch in there, just let it flow. Once that gets all cured out, we're going to tape this off. We're going to paint these headlight buckets black, but we're going to leave a chrome edge on there also. So I'm just going to come through and just do some tape around here, tape the center, and we should be good to go. So at this point, we're going to let that sit to the side and let it cure. I usually do, and I don't know why I didn't do it, because I kind of forgot it, obviously. I usually put panel line in this before I paint it white. That way it gives it a little bit of a head start. That way it won't fill in as good with the white. But this is alright, as long as it's got enough to do the job here. So you don't want it overly heavy on there, just enough to get it to do the flowing. So we get a little bit on the white, so just take a Q-tip, just wipe the edge of that off. You're going to go through a lot of Q-tips to keep that Q-tip clean. Now I have found also, if need be, you can always go back and clean this up later on with a little bit of even alcohol, just something on the end of the Q-tip just to get rid of that. So I see it started to flow in there, which is okay. We'll let that go across. It's a little too much in there. So obviously you want to let gravity do the job. So you just tip the model just a little bit and let it do its thing. And that paddle line, you can see it's starting to slowly wick its way down, because I don't want it overly thick in there, so I'll just let it do its job, let it walk its way down. You can see I need a little bit there. That's still flowing, so that's nice. Because I don't want it to get heavy in here to where it's going to start going through those lines. So if it actually stops there, I'll be okay with that, because this is going to get bare metal foiled anyways. So I'm not overly worried, but I want this done before I clear coat the cab, because I am using enamel, so it is a little thicker. So this way here I know it's not gonna fill those lines in too much. So we get there, let that wick its way down. So if you run the Q-tip right over top of that, you're gonna end up wiping that right off there. So you kind of have to be careful to that through a point. Like I say, if you have a little stainage on there, just a little bit from that, I can go back with a little bit, just a little bit of, even a little thinner. Just take thinner and just dry it off so it's almost a dry brush, and it'll wipe that right off for you. I mean, like, it'll like come right off. That looks pretty good. That's just subtle enough to where gives that nice little line. So what we're also going to do is the vents up here. We're going to do these in black. So we're going to just carefully kind of hit one at a time. Hit that one. I love panel line on white. I think man, it looks good. It's amazing, just little detail work, man, it makes it just pop. Very, very nice. Cool. That looks very nice, very nice. Just gives a little depth, a little warm and welcome feeling to it. So the window treatment needs to be painted black around here, because that's like a rubber gasket goes around there. So we may do that, but for now we're going to let this sit and dry, and we're going to come back, give it a little wet sand, and this will be ready for decals. Other than that, we're going to get this wet sanded down in the hood, getting all dusty sitting out here, and then we're going to move on and get that toe bed built, get that finished up. So we got a lot of painting doing it yet. I got to mask off the sling for the back. This is in Tamiya rubber black, so we're going to mask this off, and then we're going to paint this white. So I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint this with Tamiya white, and we're just going to leave it at that. So I got a lot of orange peel on here, so I may just hit this with Tamiya. So like I said, we're going to give this a quick wet sand with some 3000. Just knock out those two spots there, And then we're going to hit it with some 8000, and we're going to decal that, and then we're going to get it ready for clear. Okay guys, so I went setting this down with 3000 Trizac, and we're just jumping right up to 8000, and we're going to paint it with that. So we give it a little hit here. Yeah, 8000's a little extreme. I mean, I could actually just leave it at the 3 and call it good, but we want this hood to shine, so she'll look good here. This is like polishing stuff here. Like I say, not necessary. You don't really have to go this far with it, but I'm that guy, so I like to see what we can do with it. So we're going to get this wet sanded, and then we're going to go through and put the forward emblem on the front. There's decals for it, and we'll let the decals set for a bit, and then we'll go through and give it a little shot of clear. So you can see those 2 little dirt spots, those are gone, the little dust spots. I didn't get too carried away to the back because I really didn't need to. So in the kit they give us some decals for the hood. You get your separate Ford logo. So we're going to get those cut out quick. Okay, we got those moving nice, so I'm going to take and suck a little water off this sheet here with the Q-tip. Just help to remove the decals easier. Alright, we'll get those straightened up just a little bit here, and we'll put a little bit of microsol on them, let them soak in for the night. So what we're going to do is just put some microset on there and just let that do the job, and we'll let her set from there. So once again, I like my little tester brush for using this. Like I say, get these at Hobby Lobby. They got just enough grip on there to do the job, and I just save the same brush and just use it over and over. So we're using our microsol setting solution. The D looks pretty good. So once you put it on there, you don't have to keep fiddling with it. Just put it on and then leave it. We'll leave that like that. So now we're going to put the phone number decals across the side. I don't have enough room to put where it says phone. So on my build, we're just going to put the numbers on there. We're just going to put 641-555. Help. Help me. Help me. Because the decal's separate anyway, so that'll work out really good. So this is those parts you don't want to rush it, because these decals actually take a while to cure out. So the hood has the emblem on the side. That goes right here, the chrome emblem. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep the decal, the phone number, as far over as possible. That way when we go to put that emblem on, it's still got room for it. Okay, that's nice. It's real nice. Let's use this guy and slide it up with this. Help. Like I said, we're going to keep that 6 right to the edge of the hood. Make sure it's straight. We're going to let that dry a little bit. Because the problem is if I try to wipe it while it's still wet, it's going to move it around. So we're going to let that cure a little bit, and then we'll go through, put the microsol on there. And you don't have to put that on every time. I mean, that's mainly just to help conform it to irregular surfaces. I mean, that's obviously pretty smooth, so we probably can just leave it. It's not going to hurt it. I definitely want these decals to dry completely before we do any clear coating. Okay, I think it looks pretty good. We're going to leave it like that. So we're going to let that sit for the night, and we'll check on it tomorrow. So we're going back with the 3000 Trizac on this. This has a few dirt spots in this one, so we're going to try to get this wet sanded down pretty good. Remember guys, when you're doing, especially enamels, if you're wet sanding it and you pull that paper away and it's got black streaking in it or it's galling, your paint is definitely not dry. So you need to cure it out a little longer and let it sit. It's been sitting quite a few days. I've really never baked it. It's just been sitting out here. I haven't been back out here. Like I say, always check that progress, because you only want to go as far as you need to. No more. No more. I don't really need to get over carried away with it, because I do have the 24-hour towing decal going over top of it. So after I get done with it, I'm going to hit this with the 8000, and I'll bring you guys back. So the thing I didn't think about, I forgot, being I'm going to wet sand this. So if you did get a little bit of extra like black on there, wet sanding this, it'll just take that off there, and it just leaves your nice white panel line behind, because you just sand that little extra that come off there, and away you go. I'm just basically doing the door. I'm not sanding the whole thing. Just the kind of more so where I did the panel line. That's it. Now we're going to go through and decal this to what decals I have right now. Well guys, next day we got some decals dried out. Looked not too bad. I'm thinking about putting a stripe on here, just something to kind of cheer it up a little bit. So we got one of our decals here on the side. So I took the service center decal that was on there and I cut the edges off here that said quality service. So that sticker was like that. That was in the kit. So I just cut that off, put one of those Union decals on. Of course there's like some speck underneath there and it's not in the paint, it's on the decal. How awesome is that? That's alright. So that side's dry, so we gotta do this side yet. So I got this on here and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's like, I mean, like the gloss on there. It's like it's a semi-gloss painted bumper. What I'm gonna do with this, I pulled out some decals out of my decal pile. These are out of a 69 Shelby GT500. So I'm gonna use this stripe here. Hopefully the decals are still good. I thought about doing, you can see it's got the, maybe you can't see it, there's the edge here for the wheel well. Think about just doing a decal right here in the bottom, putting it right to the edge and just go right to the bottom. Just give it like a little white pinstripe. So I should be able to use about half that decal. I'll see how it looks. It might not look that good, but I thought, you know what, just dress it up a little bit. Because I thought it'd look alright because you have this here. That's going to be in chrome, so this is going to continue that. The next thing I'm going to do is, before I do that, like I say, I don't like this. So I think what I'm going to do, I did one. I'm going to take my razor or my knife and I'm going to cut this out here. And see that? I removed that center, like the decal part. Because that's alright if this is glossy, but the whole thing be glossy, I don't like that. I think it looks kind of rough looking. So we're going to try a little bit of straight edge here. A little precision cutting. Because I noticed the decal, I mean it's dry, but it just seemed like it didn't want to dry like 100%. Like it's still puffy in the middle. I can see that decal still wants to move around. So that's loose in the center like that. The whole decal's loose. See, it wants to rip right there. Just peel those sections out. Like so. Yeah, it ripped right there a little bit, but now I got my satin black there in the middle. That part of the decal's not even adhered down. Yeah, I don't know. She didn't want to, and I even put a microsol on there. Crazy, crazy. So now I can do is re-microsol that once I do this and see how she goes. Kind of wondering about this last night when I put it on there. Wasn't feeling it. This right here look like they're painted on. So at this point, that's what I was about ready to do, is just peel it off and just paint it. Looks much better. Yeah, help us out. Yeah, those decals, that thing will come right off there. Okay, we're going to re-microsol it down and hopefully she stays down. Alright, we're going to let that set and we'll hope it flattens out and wants to go out and play with the rest of us. Alright, so back to this. We'll see how this worked out. Well guys, with a little help from the 69 Shelby GT500 decal set, my AMT decal set, a AMT QVC Thunderbird set, and some STS decal set here. We did a little decaling. So that's one side of the truck for the box. I still got to do that side yet. So I thought it looked kind of cool just to put some extra, just to doll it up a little bit. So I'm going to let those dry, put some microsol, and then we can clear coat that. I don't want to put too many on there and, you know, plug it up, but I thought the stripe looked kind of cool just to give it a little extra there. And I know it's not everybody's favorite, but I'm a white letter fan, so this bad boy's getting white letter tires. I know it's not something you probably can typically see, but hey, it's my model. I thought it looked cool, so she's gonna be all dolled up. I think that looks super cool on there. Some white letter tires. Oh yeah, oh yeah, should look good. All right, moving back to the rear box side. Okay guys, continuing on the messy bench. So we are working on the wrecker side of it at this moment. So I went through and cut all the edges off everything. So this is the side that's going to be where you basically not going to see it, so we can have something to hang on to paint it. These here, obviously we're going to have to touch those up. That also goes on the inside where you're not going to see it, so we should be good there. I did take the other one off and I put it on a skew. I'll probably do that with this one before we paint it. Same thing with this handle that gets black, so we can basically just put a touch there because the spur was here on the end. And this here is the same thing. So you got that pulley there. I'd like to paint the rest of that pulley silver before I put it together. Other than that, this is a piece for the boom. We're going to redo this. I wet sand this down a little bit because it looks kind of rough. So we're just going to lacquer this whole thing so it all matches. Other than that, we're going to build this gearbox here for the basically the boom itself. So this could be all assembled and then we can paint it once it's together. Kind of go that route. I do plan on putting a string on this to where you can like string it, make it look like it's a real deal. So they have you put that in here, you know, wind it up a little bit. So I need to do that before I assemble this. So other than that, we're going to get this put together, then we'll paint it. And we're going to get these painted. This is for the beacon. So we're going to paint these with our Tamiya clear orange. This is LP53. So my way I always do this is just a toothpick. Just to dip in the toothpick. I always like to snap the ends off. That way it gives you a little more of a volume area. Guess I didn't clean off, break off as good as I'd like to see it. And just give the old dippy dip and a drip. We'll just let that drip sit in there and just let it fill in and do its job. I think there's only 4, but we'll do all of them just in case we lose one. So we also need to do, we need to paint the dome basically. So the dome in this kit is just clear. So I also went ahead and cleared the back side of the lights. So these are your lights that's going to go on the box. So I did those in some orange and these in clear red. So we're going to set this to the side, let it dry because we're done with that for right now. Because we got to mask this off and that's got to be painted white. This stuff's got to be white. This is white, that's black. So what we're going to do is assemble this quick and kind of run from there. So I'll get this all cut up, I'll bring it back and we'll stick her together. Okay, so we got everything separated out here. All cleaned up to a point. I tell you, I like these Moebius trucks. But the thing is, man, when they put their spurs on there, boy, they put big old nubs on there. They make sure they are well attached. Other than that, that's all right. So where this is section 9A in the workshop manual here. So we're going to take the 2 halves of the gearbox, put them together quick. All right, and that's pretty simple. And they got this fork looking unit. This comes out the front right here, goes back, it sits right here. I'm assuming it's some kind of handle. Carved back pretty good, but I have to admit it doesn't really fit in there all that well. Okay, we're going to let that dry for a little bit, and then we'll come back and give it a little paint job here. So the spool can get painted also. Like I say, I do want to put the cable on it. So they want you to run the cable through that little crevice right there. So I'm going to have to paint these separate and then put that together after the fact. Maybe I'll do is I'll paint it with the kind of like this here, and then it'll be easier to paint it and hold it and everything else. And we'll put a Q-tip in there. So this sits on the bottom of this. This sits over on the side, this guy. This goes through the frame. All right, so what I'm going to do is get this stuff painted up and we will get it put together. So I got a bunch of stuff here ready to go for paint. Everything's on skews over here, so I'm going to get them painted and I'll bring you guys back and we'll get this thing put together. All right, guys, we did the epic painting. Painted all the extra parts, kind of like the rest of the parts, if you will. Everything but this guy, because I forgot about it. So not a big deal. We got a couple little trinkety things, but other than that, everything else is pretty much done. So we got a shifter, or a little shift thing. We got that guy, I can't remember what it's called. We got a little handle, got another little, what do they call these? These are like a T-handle. Yeah, T-handles, that's what they're called. Just T-handles. So you have it, we have T-handles. We got lots of them. So my batteries, I had them gloss black. We did them in semi-gloss. Thought they'd look a little better. So we painted over top of the enamel. We can do that because I know it's dry. If enamel's not dry, you definitely don't want to do that because it will wrinkle up on you. So we got the handle. That's done in black, semi-gloss. I painted all of my hooks red and all the clevises. So what I did before I painted everything, these also had supports on the sides. Maybe this one didn't. Yeah, they were touching here. I think there's one here. So I cut only one side, so I just, you know, that's a bolt that goes through there, so I can touch that up. And these hooks just lay in the back. They don't actually go on the build. They're just like a static piece. So when I cut this off, I'm just going to touch it up with a little red paint, and that'll be good to go. These had a support that went across here, and they had pieces going here, here, here. So I cut that off, so there's only one, just to make it a little easier. Same with these guys here. So I went through the whole tree of all the parts, and I nipped off all one side. Same with these hooks here. These hooks hold the back of the sling up. So I did all this in lacquer. It's just bright red, LP50. And we did the mud flaps in rubber black. This is LP65. So those dried up really nice. So now we can put the Ford logos on there, the decals. It's like I say, we went through and painted everything. So now we can kind of get allowed it together. So I repainted these. If you remember, these were really bad with orange peel. They're still not the greatest. I tried to cover, I was almost out of paint. But they look way better than they did. So that actually goes down, so you're really not going to see it, but you don't see the orange peel anymore. So we painted this guy here. This is that little drum, the pulley. So I told you I kept it separated. So that painted out nice. This is one thing I do like about lacquer, that it dries like instantly pretty much. And here's our little motor that we put together. That's all done up, all nice bright white. That was all done in gloss white. So we got this guy here. This goes on the side of this. So I didn't want to put this together yet. This goes on here. It'd be too hard to paint. So that fits in there. So it would have been too hard to paint inside there. We got the back of the sling. So I still have to paint that in rubber black. I'm just going to hand paint that. So I painted these guys here. Wow, there's oil like you wouldn't believe, and that started to separate really bad on me. And it's lacquer and it almost still feels a little sticky, so it tells me there's probably some crap on there. But before I put this together, I'm going to take and paint the silver. So we got our sling, little sling blade here. So I taped that off, so we'll see how good that turned out. I'm sure there's going to be some touch up on the ends down here. Never know, maybe I got better than I thought, but I doubt it. I love peeling tape off and just to see your work. See if you actually did a good job taping, or if it's like, I knew I should have did a better job at that. So I used my little tape first to tape off the corners. Better than I thought. Ooh, that looks nice. Isn't that cool looking? How cool is that? That came out pretty good. Come out better than I thought it was going to. It's all in a good tape job. So here's my sides. That's what I was doing with it. Motorcraft battery, 76 NASCAR decal, Mugen decal belt. But see how that's wrinkled and see how that's puffed up. So of course I thought, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to take them off, just leave it like this. I got my little Shelby decal on there, that turned out alright. And look at, I peeled the paint right there. I thought, oh, are you kidding me? So another fun thing, we have, all our tires are white lettered. STS decals, those turn out really cool. Like I say, I know not everybody's a white lettered fan, but I am. I had some, so there we go. White lettered dually wrecker. That should look sharp. I was gonna put them on the other side, but it was bad enough putting the one on, you know, let alone doing it twice. You know, trying to get them centered and everything like that. So okay, so at this point I can actually put this together. I'm gonna paint that first, and kind of go from there. I might actually put that on first, then paint it, so at least I have something to hold on to. So we're gonna get this guy put together. Man, I like that. It looks really nice. I'm proud of myself. Looks good. Looks really good. So at this point, we can put the support together. So I think it'd be easier to do this now before I put that piece on there. So the guy probably do the job. Okay, looks really cool. All right, glue that down quick. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is get this painted silver. I'm just gonna do silver paint on that. We're gonna go old school Testors, old school bottle. I love these tester paints. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to paint this if I had this put together, so one of those do it now. So once I get this painted up, we can put this together. Like I say, nice thing about that Testors paint, that'll dry so nice. Probably not going to be as smooth as I like to see it, but it'll be pretty close. So now in here, we're going to just do a kind of just around the where the cable would wrap. I don't want to go over it too many times, because a lot of times that enamel will reactivate the other paint and you'll start smearing colors together. We'll leave that just like that. And the last pulley we have is the other part of the cable up top here. Okay, looks pretty good. It looks all right. So we got 52, 53. We'll clean up there, and that's good to go. So now we can build this tower. So this is the outer side where the handles go on, the crank handles. And this fits like so. It sits in like that. Nice positive feel. I'm just kind of test fitting everything just to make sure everybody's going to be cool here. Painting half this, getting this all painted up, that was kind of half the battle. Now that that's done, we can kind of crank away on it now. All right, so what I'm going to do is get this glued in. And put a lot of glue in here. I know a lot of you guys aren't a fan of CA, but I am. I mean, it's worked good for me for a while. So now it's through there, we're going to take Q-tip and wipe that off because that's got to go through the frame. Now I need a bunch of glue balled up on the end of it so it'll go through. Alright guys, we're going to wrap this video up and call this one good for right now. So we will see you on the next video. You guys have a good one and thanks for watching.